Following the first address of the Kohen Meshuach Milchama on the eve of battle that HaKadosh Baruch Hu was to be with them in their conquering of Eretz Canaan, Ki Hashem Elokechem HaHolech Imachem, that Lehilachem Lachem Im Oivechem, He will be fighting on your behalf against your enemies, Lahoshia Etchem, bringing salvation to you and success in war. The Shotarim, in two separate addresses to the soldiers, request that 4 groups of people return home. In the first set, beginning in Pasuk 5, we have the house builder, the vineyard planter, and those who have been recently engaged but not yet married. This is followed by a 4th category, introduced in Pasuk 8, not as a continuation, but as a standalone. V'yasfu hashotrim l'daber el ha'am. The Shotrim continue to speak to the people, this time asking that mi ha'ish ha'yareh v'rach ha'levav, those amongst the soldiers who are yareh, yud reish aleph, to be afraid, and rach, from a reish chaf shoresh, to be weak and timid, then yelech v'yashuv leveito. The Mishnah in SICHAH records a machloket between Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Yossi HaGalili as to the legal definition of yareh and rach halevav. Both positions are recorded by Rashi, suggesting that within the Pshuta Shel Mikra system, both positions can be read into the definition of this phrase. Rabbi Akiva reads this phrase literally, that the individual is physically afraid of war, afraid that he may lose his life, while Rabbi Yossi HaGalili takes a more midrashic approach, that the fear in this case can be traced to the fact that the individual has violated one or many Torah prohibitions that result in a death penalty, either bidei Adam or bidei Shemayim, and that this death penalty will be carried out by the soldier losing his life on the battlefield. While we could read Yelech v'yashuv leveito, a term used in all 4 categories, as optional. If he wishes, he may return but is not obligated to do so. Evidence from most of the Rishonim and Acharonim point to the translation of this phrase as he must return. Certainly in category number 4, and to some, to all 4 categories. This individual is prohibited by Torah law from any participation in the battle to conquer Eretz Canaan. Footnote number 7 of the SICHAH quotes a number of these sources. Firstly, from Rashi, who in his comment to the first time this phrase is used, Yelech v'yashuv leveito, with respect to the case of the individual who has built a house but has as yet not moved in, the Torah inserts the phrase pen yamut bil milchama, to which Rashi comments kedai hu sheyamut, that if he doesn't return, he deserves to die. And therefore he, along with the other 2 categories of the vineyard and the engagement, are mechuyavim lachzor, are obligated to leave the battleground. Noteworthy is the fact that this phrase pen yamut bel milchama is not included in the 4th category. Secondly, the Torah Tmimah, in a rather lengthy commentary, cites various sources, one of which is a comment in the Gemara, Sota Mem Dalad Amud Aleph, that the Yareh and the Rach Halevav, who does not return, is in violation of Shnei Lavim, 2 Torah violations, which would imply the Mechuyav Lachzor, which allows us to suggest that those who went into battle could be deemed as being sinless, in fact tzaddikim, a view that accords with a commentary of the Baal HaTurim to Devarim 21:10, who, basing himself upon a statement in Masechet Sotah, writes She'ein yotzim lamilchama ela tzaddikim, that from the text one could deduct that only people who were sinless, tzaddikim, were permitted to engage in warfare. And nevertheless, in going out to war, they also required the assistance on a metaphysical level of the Shivrei Haluchot, once again indicating that although on the one hand the Shivrei Haluchot represented the ever-present sin resulting from the Egel HaZahav, nevertheless there was a second aspect of the Shivrei Haluchot that reflected, that symbolized a level of Kedusha that soldiers referred to as tzaddikim needed to assist them as they went into battle.